Hi, I'm Greg with Green Acres Nursery and Supply, and this is our first episode of our Grow Along series. Our Grow Along series is a series of videos that you can follow that takes you from starting from seeds all the way to planting in their final destination. A lot of things you want to consider when you're planting seeds. You want to know what you can grow. You go out in your yard, where's the sun, your soil conditions and such, so you can get an idea of what you want to grow, whether it's vegetables for your raised bed garden or perennials for a flower bed or a pot. So let's get started. It's probably a lot easier than you think it is, especially if you're a newbie at it. It's really fun and you're going to get hooked. What you'll need is, of course, the seeds. You're going to see what's available in the seed racks. There's a lot of cool things that aren't available in the nursery that are great for later, that you can plant in your yard, that are really unique. Sometimes your friends will give you seeds too, and that's always fun to start different. You know, people tell each other what kind of seeds they like, and that really is exciting about planting. Okay, the containers that you use, I start off with these greenhouses. They're really cool because you can put the medium in here, and then you just put the seeds on top of that. I then put a heat mat underneath it, and that ensures that the plants get a really quick start, get bottom heat to get that soil warm so that they will germinate. And once they are started, I like to use a light to put over them, because especially now, they're going to need at least 8 to 12 hours of light to get those seeds going. Really important is your seed medium, your seed starter mix. You want to make sure that it's nice and clean and that it's loose and airy. Clean so that it doesn't cause any pathogens to come into your plantings. You never want to use soil from your yard. Use a really light mix like this, because besides being clean, it's going to be loose so that the seed heads are easily popped up through the soil. There are other containers that you can use, like peat pots, which are great. You plant in here once the seeds germinate. You can plant the container and all. And this is new. This is really cool. This is sustainable cow pots. They're actually made from 100% composted steer manure. There is also one other thing that you can use, and these are these peat pellets, which are little flat pellets. You put in water, they expand, they have the seed medium in it, and you just plant the seed in there. You want to have a bucket or some kind of container so that when you put the seed starter in, you can moisten it, so a good watering can is advisable. And you want to, really important, a lot of people forget about this, you want to use plant labels so that you can put them down and identify the seeds that you plant. It's really important, and you'll know what your inventory of your plants are. Okay, first I got my seed starter mix. I'm going to pour it in my bucket. I'm going to get my watering can and put some moisture in there, because you never really want to start with dry mix. Don't want to get it soggy, you just want to get it moist. Go in there and have fun and mix it around. Now that I have my soil nice and moist, I go ahead and spread it out over my container flat here. You don't have to mash it down. You want it to be nice and loose. You don't want to have it below. You want to have it almost overfilling the holes, because once you get it in there and once you plant the seed, you're going to shake it a little bit. You can see the planting mix is really light and loose. It has perlite, it has dolomite to level the pH out. It's just nice and light. So now let's get started with our seeds. And one thing you really want to check is these seed packets have a lot of information on them. Besides some really good information in front, they actually have great information in back. Botanical interest I really like, because they actually even have this cutout that you can tape or glue on to your good old label, so that you can put that in so you exactly know when the seed date, and what the seed is. So look at all the information. It gives you great on how deep to plant them, when to plant. Gives you a lot of tips, and sometimes actually even there's instructions inside the seed pack. So keep your seed packs. They're a wealth of information. Now I know what seed I'm going to plant. I'm going to put in different sections so I have different plants growing. So for example, I'm going to be growing this New Mex lemon spice jalapeno pepper here in this section right here. Now you take the seeds out, and I usually drop 2 of them in a pot in a round little hole here. These are really tiny seeds, and basic rule is the smaller the seed, the less depth that you plant it. So if you have a large seed, you want to make a little divot and plant it in there. Some seed packs have more seeds than others, so you can save those, give them to a friend, or save them for next year. Usually seeds last for about 2 years. For this pepper, the seed pack says to plant it at least a 1/4 inch deep. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put medium on top of this so that the seeds can easily break through. And what I'm going to use is vermiculite. The next is I'm going to get the long purple eggplant. This is like the Japanese eggplant, and you can find Japanese eggplant seed. I know that's really hard to find in the season, so I'm going to get an early start. The seed packet says to plant them a 1/4 inch deep. I'm going to plant some Poblano peppers. Okay, the seed pack says to plant them also a 1/4 inch deep. I usually start out with seeds that take longer to germinate, like my peppers. I plant those in early February. My little basil seeds, I'm going to put a little bit more. You can always thin them out later on. Next, I'm going to plant some California Wonder sweet peppers. Always love them. And of course, again, it says to plant them a 1/4 inch depth. I always like to plant some perennials. They take a little bit longer, like the peppers, so you want to plant those now. Okay, now I'm going to plant some perennials and biennials, like bachelor button. But we never really see these in the nursery, so this is fun, and this is a mix. And I like doing the perennials because they're pollinators and help bring pollinating insects to the garden. This is really a cool seed, and I've always been wanting to know a black pincushion, black scabiosa. So I'm really excited on planting this seed out because I rarely see this in the nursery. And scabiosa brings in butterflies and a lot of pollinators into the garden. It's really important to, if you're going to plant a vegetable garden, to not forget about the plants that bring the pollinators in. Look at this. Isn't this cool? This is an English lavender. It's a tall vera. This is really going to add a lot of bees and really cool stuff, plus fragrance to my garden. And my last seed I want to plant is some white echinacea. I like to put something on top of them so that those seeds will be able to pop through that and not have to struggle if they're planted too deep. So what I use is vermiculite. It's a great medium to put on top of the seed. That's going to ensure that once the seed starts to germinate, it's going to be able to pop through that really easily. Those 2 first cotyledons which are really important, are going to be able to pop through and give the plants needed nourishment. Okay, now I think the next step I want to do is label these so that I know exactly what I have.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we got all the seeds planted and labeled, and so we want to water them in. Now we've got all the seeds planted, we've got them labeled, and we've got them watered. The next step is to place them inside with a brightly lit room. So you don't want to put it in a dark room, you want to put it in a brightly lit room. I'm going to put a warm main mat underneath it, so that will ensure the medium will get nice and warm, give a really cozy atmosphere for when those seedlings start to pop out. And I'm going to put a light out there probably for about 8 to 10 hours, so that once those seeds start to germinate, they're going to have a lot of light. They're going to grow really healthy. So watering is really important. Make sure that your medium doesn't dry out. Keep it on the moist side, but not muddy. You want to make sure that there's plenty of moisture for those seedlings once they pop out. So check them on a daily basis. Go out there and say hello to them. Thank you for checking in on our first episode. That was a lot of fun. Be sure and check in on our second episode when we're going to show the progress of the seeds that we planted, the plants that pop when they're popping up. We'll also talk about other seeds that you can plant that's getting closer to springtime. We'll do a check-in, and we're just going to have a lot of fun. So be sure and stay tuned.